Hello, my name is Sri Kantaraja. I am the lab director and consultant embryologist at the Homerton University Hospital in London. Today I'll talk about vitrification. This is one of the recent techniques in cryopreservation, and I will take you through the advantages of vitrification. Now, we all know about freezing or cryopreservation of gametes and embryos. And if you think of 80s and 90s, we struggled with freezing of eggs and embryos. We had only one technique, slow freezing. And I have gone through that, and I know how difficult to get good survival rate. But since vitrification came into picture, it's entirely changed the way we have practiced IVF. If I refer to the slow freezing, we always say the survival rate is about 70%, 80%, but still, at those days we were doing mostly cleavage stage embryos. We freeze, say, 8-cell embryo, then we get 8 cells, it's good, well and good, but sometimes we get 7 cells, 6 cells, 5 cells, even 4 cells. We still consider that as survival. So that's how we get 70% survival. And when you look at the embryos before and after freezing, it's completely different. 4 cells or 5 cells out of 8 cells is not good. That was the reason why we were getting better pregnancies with fresh transfers rather than frozen. Once vitrification was introduced, then we realized the pregnancy rates are almost equal or higher in frozen cycles. Then we stopped and looked into it, and why. One is the survival is very good, almost 100% with vitrification. And two, we realized there is something to do with endometrium as well, because the quality of the embryos before and after vitrification is almost the same. So why we are getting even better results with frozen replacement cycles? That's endometrium. So two things we learned from there. Now, what are the advantages with vitrification, and or what has it changed since it was introduced? One, increased cumulative pregnancy rates. Why? Because whatever we freeze, we get them back, and also almost the same quality. So any surplus embryos we freeze, we are going to get it back in replacement cycles. So cumulative pregnancy rates have gone up. Two, reduced multiple pregnancy rates. How? Because we can confidently go into elective single embryo transfers, because whatever we know that whatever we are going to freeze, the embryos are going to survive. So we went for single embryo transfers, elective single embryo transfers, and thereby we reduced the multiple pregnancy rates. It's all over the world. I think now we are going towards single embryo transfer, more and more single embryo transfer. Two. The third one is freeze-all technique, so elective freezing. We realized that in a stimulated cycle, the endometrium is not ideal to put the embryos back in certain group of patients. So in those patients, if the endometrium is thin or progesterone is high, we don't need to waste an embryo there. We can keep them with the guarantee that we are going to get the embryo back. So we went into freeze-all programs, and this is also widely practiced all over the world now, freeze-all. Three. And the fourth one was PGT, right? Pre-implantation genetic testing. We start with good number of eggs, and now we are growing them to blastocyst. So we don't have to do PGT in many embryos like those days on day 3. So we do the PGT on blastocyst, and here again, once you do the test, there is no rush. We send the cells for testing. We can vitrify the embryos again we know that there is a guarantee that we are going to get these embryos back for later on. 4. That is, and the last one is egg banking or oocyte banking. Like sperm banks, nowadays there are oocyte banks. Again, with slow freezing, we struggled with especially egg freezing and survival was poor, but with vitrification, we almost get all the eggs back, or 95 to 100% of the eggs survive. So egg banking is possible. So these are the advantages with vitrification, and it's a marvelous technique. It's like ICSI. When ICSI was introduced, it changed the way we practiced, and likewise vitrification has changed the way of IVF at the moment. Thank you.